Hey guys, I'm Farid. Welcome to my channel. In this video, I'll be teaching you the basics of Python programming, so stick around. Introduced in 1991, Python is currently the third most popular programming language after Java and C, and that is such a monumental achievement for any programming language. So, Python is powerful enough to work on par with Java, but simple enough to be learned by even the most novice of programmers. In Malaysia, Python is being taught in schools under the TMK and ASK subjects for primary and secondary schools. TMK stands for Technology, Maklumat and Komunikasi, if I'm not mistaken, and ASK stands for Asas Science Computer. So, to start learning and using Python on your machine, go to python.org and go to Downloads and click on the latest download package for your operating system. So the website automatically detects which OS you are using, and I'm using Mac OS. So the latest stable version is 3.8. So download the installation package, and after which you will get two applications called Idle and Python Launcher. So the launcher controls the library, and whereas the idle is the IDE for your Python. So you need to run the launcher first before you can run the idle. Okay, so I have both launcher and idle running. So I'm using a very old machine, so I need to run them first before I start this video. And we're going to learn a few basics of Python as well as the science of computing. So let's begin with numbers. Now in Python, you have a couple of data types supported by Python, which is numbers, strings, lists, and etc. So we'll start with numbers. To use Python, just open your Python shell and you can type away something as simple as 2 plus 2 and click on return. So I'll get the answer of 4. Or you can type something like 50 minus 5 times 6, press return, and the answer is 20. Or you can do something more advanced, 50 minus 5 times 6 divided by 4, and the answer is 5.0. So that's a floating point value. So yes, Python supports double digits. You can also do divisions, and the answer is 1.6. So division always returns a floating point number. When you're doing divisions, you will also always get a floating point number as a result. But floor divisions will discard the fractional part. For example, I'm going to divide 17 by 3 using floor division, and the answer will be 5. If I do a normal division, the answer will be 5.66666 something. So that is a classic division. And if I do a modulo, 17 divided by 3, the answer is 2, which means that this is the remainder of the division. So 17 divided by 3 should be 15 and the balance is 2. And we can also do something like 5 times 3 plus 2, and the answer is 17. Okay, so using Python, it is possible to use the double star operator to calculate powers. For example, 5 the power of 2 or 5 square equals 25, and 2 the power of 7 is 128. Okay, so what about variables and constants? Okay, so in Python, equals are used to assign a value to a variable. So I'm doing a width equals 20, so that would put the value of 20 inside the width variable. And I have another variable called height with the value of 5 times 9, that should be 45. So I'm going to calculate width times by height. So that's 45 times 20. 45 times 10 is 450, so 45 times 20, that would be 900. Cool. Yeah. Now if I have a variable that is not assigned a value, then it would return an error if I try to use it. So I'm going to define a new variable called n, and it returns an error message. So you're not supposed to use something that is not defined. Python also supports full floating point with mixed operators and mixed data types. So for example, I'm going to do a simple calculation. 4 times 3.75 minus 1, and the answer is 14. Now in interactive mode, the last printed expression is assigned to the variable underscore. So it means that when you're using Python as a calculator, it is somewhat easier to continue calculations because you already have a recorded value into a predetermined variable. So I'm going to do something simple. So I'm going to type tax equals 12.5 div equals 100.50, so that's $100 and 50 cents. So we'll calculate price plus underscore, and the answer is 113.0625. So I'm going to round up the value of the underscore variable to just 2 decimal points. So it's going to be 113.6 cents. This value should be treated as a read-only by user, so you don't explicitly assign a value to it. And in addition to integers and floats, Python also supports other number types such as decimal and fraction. Besides numbers, Python can also manipulate strings, which can be expressed in a couple of ways. So they can be enclosed in single quotes or double quotes with the same result. So I'm going to type something, single quote, spam eggs, and it will display spam eggs. Or can I do this? Don't apostrophe T don't. Yes, I can. Okay, besides typing it directly into the shell, you can also use the print function to print your string. So I'm typing print and I'm going to say something like hello, and it will say hello. Now I'm going to create a new variable called s, and it's going to be a two-lined sentence. So first line and /n to define that it's going to be printed on the second line. So s equals first line /n second line, and I'm going to tell it to print s. So we have two lines of text, first line and second line. Okay, similar to PHP, a string can be concatenated or combined or glued together with the plus operator. So I'm going to type something, 3 times n plus I am, and the answer would be n. Cool. And you can also type something like py space ton, and it's going to be printed as Python. So this is exceptionally useful when we're trying to break long strings into different variables. So it can be typed as short variables and be printed as one single sentence. Okay, a string can also be treated like an array. So let's say I have an object or variable called word with the value of Python in it. So if I were to tell word what was the character and position 0, it will return the answer of P, which is the first letter of the word. And if I tell Python to give me the 5th character in the Python word, the answer will be N. So Python is a 6-letter word, but in all programming languages, all arrays will start with 0. So a 6-letter word will have a 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 characters, all 6 characters. And I can also tell Python to return from behind the last letter. So what if I tell Python to return to me the second last letter of the word Python? And the answer is O. How about -6? It's P. Okay, I can also do this. Return to me 2 characters beginning with the first character. So it'll say PY, or return to me the characters beginning with the second character, or particularly the third character, and I want 5 characters. But because we are already at the third character, there can only be 3 remaining characters to be printed. So tshow. Okay, I can also do this. Word in Python, the start and the start is always included and the end is always excluded. So this makes that the s bracket colon I plus s I colon bracket is always equal to s. So word colon 2 plus word 2 colon will return Python. So this is called slicing. And slicing indexes have useful defaults. And omitted first index defaults to 0, and omitted second index defaults to the size of the string being sliced. So what was it that we typed earlier on? Word colon 2 is pi, and word 2 colon is 10. So if you remember, in our sentence, Python is made up of 6 letters. So we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, and negative 6. Okay, so if we need a different string, we can always create a new one. So I'm going to type J plus word 1 colon, and the answer would be Jaitan. Okay, so last but not least, you can also return the total number of characters in a string. So super supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. That's quite a mouthful. So let's get the length of S, and it's 33. Python knows a number of compound data types used to group together other values. So the most versatile is the list, which can be written as a list of comma-separated values or items between square brackets. So let's create a new variable called square, and it will be populated with a group of numbers 1, 4, 9, 16, and 25. Yep, these are square numbers for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Squares. So if I type square, it will return the array. So I want it to return to me square 0. Now how about square negative 1, 25, and square negative 3 colon, so 9, 16, and 25, so the last 3. Okay, a list can also be concatenated or combined without having to create new variable. So I have a square plus (36), 49, 64, 81, and 100. Right, something went wrong over here. Arithmetic error. Not sure what it was. Okay, so the square is now populated with square numbers from 1 till 10. Okay, how about a cube? So cube 1, 8, 27, 65, and 125. Okay, so instead of concatenating our variable, we can also add a new value by using the append command. So I have a cube dot append 216. So now I have 6 values of cube numbers in my cube. So type cube and 1, 8, 27, 65, 125, and 216. And I can also do this. 7 by the power of 3. Oops, sorry. Cube. So now I have 7 values. 1, 8, 27, 64, 125, 216, and 343. How cool is that? Okay, let's do another example. So a new variable, letters, and it's going to be populated with alphabet A until G. D, E, F, and G. Okay, so let's test it out. A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. Okay, I'm going to replace a few letters with new letters. So 2, 5 will be replaced with capital C, capital D, and capital E. So what it's gonna look like? So A, B, capital C, capital D, capital E, F, and G. Okay, now I'm going to do something similar but slightly different. Instead of replacing those characters, I'm going to just add an empty box. So let's try it out again. And right now we only have A, B, F, and G. So C, D, E have been taken out. And let's calculate the length of letters. Yep, there's only 4 letters left. Of course, the lure of Python is that it can do more than just simple calculations. So Python can be used for more complicated tasks than what we have seen just now. So let's take a sneak peek of what programming feels like in Python. So we're going to generate a Fibonacci sequence. In Python, your documentation or comment starts with a hashtag. So we're going to assign a value to 2 variables, A and B, and the values are 1 and 0, or 0 and 1. And we're going to use a loop to loop through the values of both variables, and column defines that there's going to be another line afterwards. So print A and B equals B, A plus B. So this will assign new values to A and B. So A was previously 0, B was previously 1. So A is now going to be B, and B is going to be A plus B. So what is Fibonacci sequence? Let's take a look. So as you can see here, A was 0, B was 1. So A plus 0 plus 1 is 1. And then 1 plus 1 is 2. 1 plus 2 is 3. 2 plus 3 is 5. 3 plus 5 is 8. So that is Fibonacci. Okay, next, I'm going to assign a variable I with the value of 256 times 256. And I'm going to tell Python to print the value of I is I. And it will say the value of I is 65536. Okay, let's do a second go at the Fibonacci sequence. So I'm going to reassign A and B. A comma B equals 0 comma 1. And let's do the looping again while A less than 1000. Print A and I made some mistake here. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. So while A less than 1000, print A and equals comma, and then A, B equals B, A plus B. Right, so after every iteration we have our next print line. Instead of printing it into separate lines, it is now printing everything in one single line separated by a comma.